welcome to another amazing week of Beyond Parody. This week we are missing some of our favorite crew due to illness and travel, but we've got an awesome group here. We've got Joel Abbott, editor-in-chief of Not the Bee.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And Travis, who is a fellow writer at the Bee.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Are you really?
Are you better
Yes,
be.
I'm obligated to be happy to be here. It's part of my contract.
Actually obligated to be happy to be here.
That was a weird, stinking part of it.
All right. There is so much news this week. And for the first week in a while, there's not any really heavy stories, I feel like. The news this week is newsy, and there are some kind of funny, quirky stories that we want to go over, and we want to get to a lot. So we're going to talk about the government shutdown. We're going to talk about the Israel, Hamas, Gaza peace deal. We're going to talk about Katie Porter's meltdown because it's happening. And oh my goodness, I hate to use the German word Schadenfreude, but there is a little bit of that going on with her many videos I've now watched about her.
She's a real treat.
She's a real treat. Plus Greta Thunberg sharing some whoopsie daisies on X. There's just, we got some gifts this week in the news. I will say that. Some real true gifts. So I think we should start with the Israel peace deal that Trump is hammering out. It's pretty remarkable. And if Hamas agrees to even, I think it was 21, 22 points of this peace deal, if they agree to 90% of them, 80% of them, there will be some really amazing changes affected in the Middle East. Joel, let's start with you. What's your first, what are your thoughts on this? Anything that you've noticed in the news this week as you've been writing stories?
First of all, over on Not the Bee, we wrote the very important news, which was that the U.S. Secretary of State passed a note to President Trump asking him to approve a Truth Social post before the Gaza peace deal was finalized. So that's extremely important. Absolutely important. This deal, from my understanding, without getting into all the nitty-gritties, there were 250 hostages that were taken by Hamas, and they still have, I'm blanking on the number that they still
20,
have.
I think there are 20-ish alive, and then they have
alive.
Bodies of
there's 30 bodies or so. So that's going to happen. They're going to apparently the Hamas will release those hostages. Then there's also a bunch of Palestinian/Hamas prisoners, well over 1,000 that Israel will release. And then there's also going to be a pullback from Gaza in terms of Israeli military operations. So will that actually happen? It's kind of in flux. We don't really know. Is Hamas going to hold up their side of the deal? Are they going to be back to fighting? What exactly is going to happen? We don't know. But as of this moment, on Thursday, October 9th, things are looking good.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing. It's kind of funny. The only people that aren't celebrating this seem to be some of the far leftists. Some of the far leftists are like, but no, the goal was to destroy Israel. But they're the ones who've been calling for the end to the war the loudest.
It's been really funny to see the left react to, they don't really, okay, the war is over. Climate change is also kind of going out of style. What are we going to
I know they got to pick something else. I know they have the Super Bowl halftime show, so they still have that.
They've got that. They can hold on to that.
I'm not sure what else they have going.
What is
for
it?
them.
Good Hamster or whatever his name is.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. Ukraine war still happening, but you don't hear as much about that these days.
No one cares about it anymore.
No.
Which is kind of,
in a sense, it's kind of sad because people are still dying over there.
Right. It's still serious, but
It's
hashtag the current thing, the NPC chip meme where they take it and it's been swapped. So.
I think while we're on this topic, then maybe it would be great to highlight what did happen with Greta Thunberg this week. So she shared a tweet that has now been deleted where she posted a picture of, and I'm going to mosey on over to Not the Bee here. And if you don't read these stories on Not the Bee, that is where you guys should be following.
How dare you?
That's the real news.
How dare you? So she shared a tweet, and we all know Greta Thunberg is maybe not, if you're getting your news from Greta, maybe you should find a better space to get your news. She shared a picture. She said, should I share this? All right, you guys, here it goes.
Yeah, do it.
I'm going to try to share my
Drum roll.
screen.
Hit all the buttons.
Okay, I'm hitting this
all
button.
of them.
I'm hitting this button. I'm hitting share screen. I'm hitting this one. There are a lot of buttons. Dan is not lying. Okay. How we doing? You can see it?
I can see
We
it.
can see
just
it. It's
small.
kind of
Wow.
like when Han Solo is clicking all those buttons trying to open up the cell doors to find Princess Leia. That's what I feel like every time we have to
Beep, boop,
share.
up.
our
Hey,
screen.
let's just give a handout for the lady commentator here. All right. So Greta accidentally shares a photo of starving Jewish hostage while trying to show cruelty in Israel. So
Nice.
this was her original tweet that she has taken down. Maybe it was a tweeter on
Looks like an
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah. Says the suffering of Palestinian prisoners is not a matter of opinion. It is a fact of systemic cruelty and dehumanization. The only problem is that picture down here is a picture of an Israeli hostage. The guy on the bottom right is a Jewish man held captive and starved nearly to death. His name is Jill. Do you know?
Evyatar David. I don't
David.
entirely know, but
Yeah. And he's the one that they put a video out a couple of months ago of him digging his own grave. and she took it down, but it does kind of encapsulate the lack of information that you would think that she would have more information than that. Like,
well, she's just an armchair activist like everybody. It's just that she also goes out and tries to get off the armchair, but she only has that armchair information. She just Googles things, goes, yes, the Jews, and
and she goes out. Now, I don't know if you saw that his sister, so Evyatar David, his sister Yila, actually responded to Greta, and she said, you should research before you post things you don't understand about.
Right.
In the 6th slide, you put a photo of an Israeli hostage who Hamas starved on purpose. This is Evyatar David. Every minute you are not deleting the post, you are becoming a bigger joke. And so she did delete it, but I thought that becoming a bigger joke, I asked the question, is that phrase a worthy summary of Greta's career? I don't know. I'll let the listeners / readers
every
decide.
day becoming a bigger joke.
Kind of. I mean, it seemed like she peaked early with her "How dare you" speech, and I would have thought she would have disappeared. And she keeps putting herself out there. She keeps trying to go to Palestine and just getting captured by Israel. That's the funniest thing in the world.
It's going to be really interesting to see where she's at. I'm just imagining Greta as like a 60-year-old woman trying to think about what she's protesting way in the future, 30 years from now. What will she be doing?
Yeah.
Well, she'll be protesting robots at some point, but it won't just be
whatever. Like
robots.
You said, Joe, the current thing is then it'll be something funny. And when I was in high school, I was in a lot of theater productions, and it is hard to look back on that era and think, did I peak when I was in that Woody Allen play in 2001? But I've moved on from there, and I've evolved a little bit in my life. And
I'm sorry, what, a Woody Allen play? What?
Yeah, it was called "Don't Drink the Water." It was pretty hilarious. It was set in like the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War. But in my life, I've evolved and moved past that. And I think it's funny, Joel, you said, or was it you, Travis, said the "how dare you" moment? Did she peak?
Oh, I think that was Joel.
Joel, yeah, I think it is. It feels a little bit like that. She's trying to get back. She's trying to get a viral moment like that to happen again. But she's become a parody of herself, honestly.
Right.
And
it's difficult because, if you really want to get philosophical, the left and liberal philosophy in general, it tends to idealize youth, and they focus on youth. It's, youth-led moments, youth are the future. And there's a reason for that. And it goes back to all sorts of philosophy with Rousseau and others. And the idea, it's the exact same reason why they'd say that, the noble savage, that they're noble, right? And so young people, they're more innocent. They see the world in a way that is more innocent. And instead of looking at it as, no, they're naive, and maybe we shouldn't make like a 16-year-old girl at the time our spokesman for climate change and climate science, like maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Instead, they look at it as, oh no, this is the innocence and the passion of the youth, and we need to follow. So she was a very useful pawn at that moment, but now she's in her 20s. And you can see her running all over the place trying to stay relevant. And there's a lot of left-wing activists like that. And it is a little bit sad. It is a little bit child actor vibe-ish.
But she's an adult now, and so we can make fun of her. When she was a child, I felt a little bad making fun of her. But now that she's a grown-up, I think we can make. She's what, 24? She's make funnable of age.
Make funnable.
Yeah, but she looks exactly the same. She found the fountain of youth or something.
Except for the haircut, Lord Farquaad, or
yeah. She looked normal with the braids, the pigtails or whatever.
Yeah.
But she looked younger, and now I guess she's trying to look older. But she just looks like Lord Farquaad.
And I just don't think she helps maybe she does. Maybe I'm in a bubble, an ideological bubble, and I don't really see the impact that Greta Thunberg is having on the movement.
She's not having any.
I just don't think she is. I think there are some people that think she's brave, but I think there are a lot of people that think she's really, really cringy. And even people who agree with her stances. If she were fighting for my causes, I would maybe tell her to sit a few out and ask if she could not. And there's people on my side of the fence of things who I don't particularly appreciate when they get out in front of things. And I feel like Greta Thunberg is maybe on the left. I would hope that some people have a little bit more self-awareness about that. There was another.
I was just going to say there's lots of infighting too, because if you look at Marxist ideology at its core, there's a lot of jealousy. You're coveting, you're jealous. It's people trying to promote themselves and their own brand, and they're trying to do that by tearing down systems and hijacking it. And so they say, we're all comrades, but there is a lot of that infighting. I mean, you get that in all sorts of groups, but within these far left groups, you see a ton of that. And I thought it was interesting. It was just like a week ago before she reached or was intercepted by the Israeli Navy for the second time.
Joel,
kidnapped. She was demoted. She was dropped from the flotilla leadership.
The main flotilla for being annoying.
And she's like the only person, like, I don't know anybody else personally who has global name recognition. And she's apparently so annoying that they dropped the one lady who actually has global name recognition from leadership. And there's all this info, and you see that these are not serious people, but they do try to be serious.
No, I totally agree. It's a funky brand to be a part of. And when the crazier people are kicking you off the crazy boat, that maybe you should look in the mirror and wonder if you should be a little less crazy.
Well, the problem is she doesn't think they're crazy. She probably thinks, these are my people. They're smart and they're freedom fighters. She probably thinks she's a freedom fighter and she's never fired.
She does think she's a freedom fighter, and they're going to go shoot some more flares off and call them drone strikes. So, it's very serious people. We know that Monty Python oh no, it's Arrested Development with Job and the Alliance. We demand to be taken seriously.
Yes.
The magicians. If I knew how to push all the buttons, I would put that screen up. Speaking of people who had a rough week and maybe shouldn't be taken as seriously as maybe before they should have been, Katie Porter, gubernatorial candidate in the state of California, who was polling very well.
Yeah, leading candidate right now.
That's I think the polls even in the last 24 hours, they've shifted. They've shifted. But Katie Porter she's a House rep in California, and I've seen clips of her over the years. She was on Bill Maher's show. She's been on the talk show circuits, and her clips sometimes go viral, honestly, because she says stuff that makes my jaw drop, but people like the stuff she says. And she had this interview. I want to play just a minute of it. It was a longish, the clip is about 3 minutes long, but it is such a dumpster fire of an interview. And it really shows her personality comes out in this, I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately for her, it's kind of the mask slips off and you see who she really is. So
what do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win? I mean,
she's confused by the question.
60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election? Yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's
I don't need you filthy deplorables.
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland,
yeah, I'm going to pause it there because she goes and goes and goes. But then we get to her total meltdown at the end.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So And the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
she looks so flustered.
Well, to those voters. Okay. So you,
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Thank you.
Nice.
She starts taking off her mic.
You're not going to do the interview with us.
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Heaven forbid.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care.
Follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation, which you ask me about every issue on this list.
Positive conversation.
And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Difficult things.
And we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
Wow.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
Oh, yeah. She handled it so well.
I'm me. I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to.
Right, I'm going to stop it there because she goes, and then we saw
I'm me.
I'm me.
And she goes and she's like, I want to have a happy experience with you. And it's like this is that's not exactly what you're running for governor of California. You're going to be representing tens of millions of people. What are you doing here? You should be able to field basic questions. If you think the press is hostile towards you, fine, whatever. But you have to be able to answer those basic questions because the media's job isn't just to tell everybody how amazing you are. It's to be transparent.
And
I mean, in theory,
keep your head. Even if you think the questions are biased, even if she thinks that she's being antagonistic, the reporter, you don't say out loud, I thought I was only coming here to get a positive interview. Sure. You just keep your cool. And then later you can say, yeah, I thought this interview was a little unfair. Here are some points of my argument that she overlooked. And and then you look like a normal put together adult. Here she just looks, I've said this before. I was in journalism for many, many years. I've interviewed many politicians. I've interviewed some people under antagonizing circumstances where I had to ask really hard questions and they were mad at me as a journalist for asking, especially during COVID, when we had to question some people about local policies and mask policies and things like that. But never did I ever have anybody, even in a heated exchange, say, you're only supposed to ask me positive questions and I'm leaving this interview because this is not what I expected. You whatever. People know how to keep their cool. Even journalists do that. Even if they come out of left field and ask you a question that you weren't expecting, you're a politician. Your whole job is just to stand on your feet and say, hey, okay, let me think about that. Here's my answer. But
this is it reminds me of Kamala Harris, which is funny because I saw that when Kamala Harris announced she wasn't going to run for governor of California, it was like 30% of the people that had supported her had shifted over to Porter, and Porter was at there's like a dozen candidates running right now in the primaries for the 2026 gubernatorial election in California. But Porter was polling at like 18%. She pulled a large number of Kamala's potential voters. And I just think it's funny in the same way that Kamala couldn't even fathom the idea of having a press that would ask her difficult questions. Porter is following the same trajectory. So I guess they just don't ask Democrats difficult questions out there in California. To me, that reminded me of a middle school. I saw exchanges like that in middle school between girls. That's what it reminded me of. Just, like these two people. Well, Katie, no, you can't. No, you shouldn't say that about. It's like, what are we doing, people? Like this is California. When you look at the economic, the economy of California, we love to poke fun at California, but there's tens of millions of people, a massive state, tons of revenue coming in from imports, tons of businesses, Silicon Valley. It's still very important. What are we doing? Can the adults please maybe get involved?
Yeah, I think she's just entitled, honestly. Just the way she reacts to the first question, where she's looking at the reporter like she's dumb. Like, why would I need those votes? Like, what are you, stupid? I'm a Democrat. This is
in California,
dummy. And it's like, it's just a question. Answer the question.
Like, and again, the answer would be, I'm going to work hard to earn the votes of all Californians. As their governor,
which she eventually sort of says, it's like later, and I don't know. She just completely...
Like, what do you think if you're a Republican? Exchange. If you're the one if you're watching that and you're sort of on the fence, maybe you're not like hardcore Republican, you're just wondering about this candidate. What would you think about that? I mean, yes, tactically speaking, it's true. In California, you probably really don't need a lot of Trump votes. But that's not how you do politics.
No.
This is not how you don't say the quiet part out loud.
No. Joel, you mentioned Kamala Harris, and I have to show a clip real quick now that I figured it out from her this week. Can we just say there are moments that I missed last year? Last year was a lot of fun. It was very stressful for me during the election cycle because there were a lot of ups and downs, and we were all looking down the barrel of a possible Kamala Harris presidency. Oof. But there were also some moments watching her, and just especially as a comedy writer, so much gold between her and Biden. Just, can we just say for a minute, we kind of missed last year. I don't wish she was president right now, but she's been on a book tour. And I don't know if you guys have seen some of these clips.
Yeah.
I just want to share this one real quick. I watched it 3 times because I thought it was AI or a joke.
I am so proud of all of you. You know how privileged I feel to have been educated at Howard University.
I'm so drunk.
About everything I have achieved, and I've been the first to do many things because of being here when I was your age. Knowing that everything that I'm being told and can feel tells us we can be and do anything that we.
What are you talking about?
If you want a funny version,
statewide.
Yeah.
I slowed this down on our site just a little bit by like 20%.
Okay.
So it's up to you if you want to pull that up as well. But yeah, I mean, so when you were playing that, I thought for a second it was the clip that I had just slowed down a little bit.
Because she sounds it's her hand motions, and it's just the stream of consciousness that when she was running. Oh, here. Is this what Kamala achieves impressive new record for slurring words? Okay.
For slurring words.
I'm gonna find, because it is. Oh, here, I slowed it down just for fun. All right. Here, I'll go share this because do you guys
so many things I have achieved.
Do you guys also miss her just a little bit, or am I just
I do not miss her.
In a sense, it's good comedy.
All right, here she is.
You miss the comedy.
Slow down.
I am so proud of all of you. You know how privileged I feel to have been educated at Howard University. There is so much about everything I have achieved, and I've been
so much about everything I have done
because of being here when I was your.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
It's just, if you slow it down, I actually got that idea from, there was a News Morning show. I'm blanking on which one it was, but he did the same thing. He just slowed her voice down just a little bit and played it, and the whole crew just died laughing. I know that you can poke fun at Trump, you can poke fun at all sorts of politicians for the way that they talk, but Kamala Harris should have somebody coach her if she isn't actually drunk, to help her with her mannerisms so that she doesn't appear like she's just this inebriated wine mom who just wanders in.
And the way she moves her arms, it looks like she's a marionette a little bit. Yeah. It's like
it's not the Trump. Trump has very forceful arms, but he's got the,
Well, I feel for her. I am an incredibly socially awkward person, like in a new setting when I meet people. And I've always thought that hands and arms are incredibly inhibiting, especially if you're talking to someone or you're at a concert. What do you do with your hands at like a music concert?
Get rid of your arms then?
Yeah, like
these arms are inhibiting.
Maybe we should tie them behind our back when we meet new people or something, because it is. But I'm sure there are smarter people out there because most people figure it out. But her mannerisms, they're just not working for her. She needs
there's an entire paid class of consultants that do this for PR and have for centuries. The way that nobles were expected to act in court, just interacting with each other. Obviously, look at the ceremony, the pomp, and everything that goes into what the king over in England does, the royal family.
Right.
The way that they act, the way that you enter the room, the way that you sit down. All of these things are coached. Yeah. And you don't have to act like you're royalty. You do want to be authentic, which I think Kamala Harris was trying to do with her whole brat thing in a sense.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. It came off as very inauthentic. But if you just hired somebody to be like, hey, here's what you do. I mean, you could see some people like Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, it seemed like he took a little bit of coaching with his mannerisms. You could actually see over the years. So they started to become a little bit Trump-like there for a while when he was running for president. But yeah, there's tons of people you could pay good money to. And it's not like the Kamala campaign didn't have money.
Right.
They had a ton of cash. They could have easily paid somebody to be like, all right, we're just going to help you with the cackling. We're just going to work on that.
Travis, you've interviewed many famous celebrities. The
whole world, actually.
Tens of them, the whole world. What is a good piece of advice that you would give to Kamala Harris? How would you, as a public figure, could you tell her something to hold in her hands or a better way?
Well, yeah, kind of like how in sitcoms when there's a pregnant woman and they're always like, okay, hold the bag or always stand behind a table. You're always hiding it, but there's clever ways of doing that. So she needs to hide her mannerisms,
her face.
So you occupy yourself with something else at the same time. So if she had a fidget spinner and she was just spinning that fidget the whole time, I think that would do wonders for her.
A bottle
really get that
of wine in her hand. Just
a bottle of wine. Someone should
that might go the other
sure
way. That might really make it look worse, especially if it's sloshing around.
I think the fidget toy is a really good one. I am obsessed with, there's these new stress balls that are hip right now, and I keep them in my car because I am a fidgeter, and I should bring one down when we're on the show, honestly, because I always like to have something in my hands when we're talking. But yeah, I think that's a good piece of advice.
But here's my question. Do you want the commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces to be somebody who needs a fidget spinner? Like they're standing there with their they're hovering over the red button. They're about to launch the nukes. Here it comes. And they got the fidget spinner because they're trying to get their anxiety out. I don't want that person.
I don't know.
Well, look at it this way. Then they won't be able to press that button. Well, obviously, if someone's nuking us, that's bad. They can't retaliate, but they're not going to accidentally nuke someone else.
Versus Trump, who's just like, Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, I will immediately push the button. Boom.
I will push it. Don't tempt me.
All right. While we're on funny, crazy people, we need to go over our blue-haired breakdown of the week. It is about a topic that might be a tiny bit stale, but man, is this clip funny. If you are watching this on YouTube, please watch this video because just this woman's face, the whole thing. So she's asked about the Sydney Sweeney advertisements. All right. Okay. And this, I'm going to go back to the beginning and make it full screen. You've got to watch how she reacts to this. Okay. Here.
The Sydney Sweeney ad. Have you seen it?
Oh, yes, I have.
What are your thoughts?
Trying to call myself a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. She has good genes. Really? Like,
that's the joke.
The double entendre there is so thick. It's no. Yeah, no. It's talking about eugenics. Plain and simple.
Yeah, just her like
I hadn't actually seen that one, but there's so many women who are like that. And it's just that we all live in echo chambers to a certain extent. Like I acknowledge that there is an echo chamber that I'm in. But you have to try to be self-aware to look beyond that echo chamber and to actually see like what the intent of things is. It's just funny that, that was like 3 months ago now.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that particular video, but it reminds me of like 4 other ones that I watched. And it's like the exact same copy and paste message. Well, it's clearly eugenics. Did you watch a different ad than I watched?
I want to say as a child of the 90s growing up, I was born in 1983, but I really came online in the 90s. All of the advertisements on cable TV and public network TV, were all sexy women in the 90s. I didn't love them. My parents were very conservative and they would always try to change the channel. But she would not have survived 25 years ago when every single advertisement was just a hot, buxom woman selling life insurance or beer or Carl's Jr.
Then they got rid of all of that. They got rid of all of that in the name of feminism. And now there's, transgender people.
And now we got a whole other,
and it's like a whole nother, like, and the thing is the marketing, the woke companies are finally starting to see what actually makes money. Like we've said before on this podcast, we've said before on the website, we're not exactly defending those ads. I think it was in July when they came out. We're not exactly defending those ads and we need to, sex does sell. It's not that we're defending that, but it does seem like the woke companies have finally woken up to the fact that that whole message of, hey, let's have like Jaguar, let's have a bunch of transgender guys in rainbow dresses try to sell a luxury car to middle-aged bank
Wait, how did you
managers.
pronounce that, Joel?
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Travis, how do you say it?
Jaguar.
Oh, Jaguar. Sorry,
I just say Jaguar. Jaguar. I've
I
never
used to
in
just
my
say
life
Jaguar.
heard
A Jag. Yes.
Jaguar is a new one. I've heard Jaguar. I say Jaguar.
Yeah, I think in English, because it's a European company, right? They actually say Jaguar, and I kind of say that because I think it sounds funny. But yeah, it's normal to just say Jaguar.
Jaguar.
That's the American way. Jaguar.
Jaguar is a new one for me.
I apologize for my Midwesternness.
Back to the Sydney Sweeney thing real quick, and we don't need to go too deep on that because this is a 3-month-old story, but it was funny to me that we went from an unhealthy culture around body image where you had to be rail thin and super hot. And I pushed back against that as a teenager growing up in that environment. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good. But then instead of stopping at the it's okay to have a normal body and look normal and be a normal person, we just decided to just bypass that barrier and go straight over to the fat. You need to be it's body shaming to say fat is bad. And
right. The pendulum swung the other way.
Momentum is a curious thing.
Shout out to the moms. We just need mom body positivity. It's okay to have had kids and to just be working on it. But it's not okay, obviously. It's not healthy to be morbidly obese. And it's also not great to
careful now, you'll get banned.
Idolize and worship these stick insects over here. So we just need
now you're getting banned by both parties.
Now I'm going to get banned by both parties, but we just need to come in the middle, and that's all I want. That's how so many of these things are. Like you said, Travis, the pendulum swings so far over to one side. All I think most people want is just somewhere nice in the middle of some of these really hot button topics. So anyway, we have one more news story that I think we really should touch on because it was kind of one of the crazier stories from this week, and that is the texts that came to light from Jay Johnson, who is running for Jay Jones, running for Virginia Attorney General. This story, I listen to a lot of news podcasts in the car and walking around. This is one where I was on a walk, listening to it in my headphones, pushing my stroller, and I literally stopped and my jaw dropped when they read his texts out loud. My jaw literally dropped. So if you don't know what this is, Jay Jones is running for AG, and he was texting with was it a reporter or a friend in 2022, so it was a while ago, and these texts that he had sent came to light this week, and it is very close to the election. He said if there were 3 people, Hitler, Gilbert was his opponent at the time, and Pol Pot, Gilbert gets 2 bullets in the head. It's an old joke. About
that's wild though, because Hitler is right there.
He's
literally right there.
Yeah. This story, and the craziest part about this story isn't even that this guy had sent these texts wishing death upon his opponent's children, and saying that fascist babies essentially deserve to die and all this crazy. They're crazy texts, and go read them if you haven't read through them. The crazier part of this has been that not a single Democrat has denounced them, and they all still throw their support behind him. This has not disqualified him from staying in the race. He still has the full endorsement and support of the entire Democrat machine in his state. What?
Now, the thing is a lot of people may not have even heard about this. So this whole scandal broke, what was it, like the 3rd, October 3rd, somewhere around there. So a few days ago now, we ran a story today saying that up until at least the 7th, there could be, I don't know the last day or two, but for the first 4 or 5 days that this was in the headlines, which is when it was really, it was everybody was talking about it. It was going viral. ABC, CBS, and PBS did not mention anything about the scandal a single time on air.
No.
And NBC News only dedicated 63 whopping seconds. And the only reason it was brought up is that there was a former Trump official that brought it up during a panel. And so it was 63 seconds. So if you get your news from the mainstream media, I mean, you just don't. I wrote another story. This was 2 days ago on October 7th, where the Associated Press, the quote unquote objective nonprofit news agency, They wrote a headline that says Trump's GOP seizes on violent rhetoric from Virginia AG
and that
candidate
headline made it
as
sound
high
like
stakes elections loom. Yeah, it's Republicans pounce. So you don't report on the actual scandal. You report on the fact that the Republicans are reacting to the scandal, and that's the scandal.
Yeah, the crazy part about that headline is that it made it sound like it was GOP violence, that they were, the way it was read. I read it like
that's
5
purposeful
times.
though.
It
It's
was
purposeful.
it was purposeful. It was the most ambiguously written headline. I really try to go in my head when these big things happen and think, okay, if this happened to someone on my side, how would I react? And you denounce violence. If someone says, I want to shoot someone in the head because I disagree with their politics, I don't care if you're the most conservative candidate in the world. And we have this happening right now. A lot of people on the right, not a lot, but we know who they are, some pundits and stuff, saying pretty crazy things. And I don't see a huge movement to support them or to validate or to justify what they're saying. The right tends to be better at calling out their own. I think that's the case.
In general, though, I'm surprised that this is only news now since it happened in 2022.
Right.
And like normally I don't care that much about like resurfaced tweets or texts or whatever from that are that old. But he was texting a Republican. Like they had no reason to keep it secret at the time.
No.
So it's just curious.
It is a little bit, the idea, like what the Associated Press says there, it is an October surprise. It is something that is thrown out there. That is never really a good look because you're sitting on information that you should release to the public, but it's going to have a greater impact if you do it at and I find that shady. I just do in politics. The way that that's run, I don't like it. Obviously, this is a hit job, but the guy in this case, he literally has hung himself. It's his text messages.
Right. Yeah.
So he's the one that said all those things. And then he went on and he made comments about how, well, maybe if a few police officers died, they wouldn't, be so systemically racist or whatever. Right, and you get these types of comments. And I interact with a lot of people. You get people that'll share memes all the time. Lots of people with dark humor, lots of ex-military guys. And they'll go out there and they'll make these jokes, the only good commie's a dead commie, stuff like that. And there's a sense of joking in it. And so maybe you could say that this guy, he offered an apology. He was sort of morbidly joking with somebody. But again, you have to consider, what are your aspirations? Like for me to do that with a buddy or whatever, this guy is running for the top law enforcement position, the prosecutorial position in Virginia. This is not a small thing. So for him to have that type of humor, there has to be a certain standard of professionalism. And if there's not, and nobody's going to pull their endorsement, like Nancy Pelosi was out there defending him on the news like just a day or two ago, saying, oh, well, he apologized. It's totally fine. Bridge under the water or water under the bridge.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you go, okay, so what actually are our standards now? Like, can we just, everybody just joke
and it
about
wasn't all joking.
People?
He said people need to feel the pain of their policies, which did not sound like a joke.
It didn't sound like a joke, but it was joking.
It was a wink. And I agree with you, Joel. I think October surprises, they can be useful or they can be totally fabricated. And if you remember last year during the 2024 election, October 1st or 2nd, do you guys remember this with Trump? They did this whole press conference, the Democrats did, where they pulled out all of these, it was like 3 or 4 women who were accusing Trump of sexual harassment or something. And we knew it was an October surprise. But the funny part about that was, I don't know if you guys remember this, it bubbled up and then it went straight down out of the news cycle because they had no substantiation with any of their allegations. It was like, this weird thing happened to me. And so the reporters kept asking them, what happened to you? When did it happen? And none of them could verify or corroborate a story. So it just like bloop. And it kind of, I think it hurt the Democrats more than helped them. And I agree that they can be immoral. In this case, that's the only valid criticism I see, is that they did sit on these texts for a long, long time. And I don't, they were used for political purposes, but at the end of the day, the dude did text those things. That it was not a fabrication. They were real texts, and I think they should be disqualifying. I text a lot of people all day long, and if you went through my phone right now, I guarantee you would not find anything that would disqualify me from an elected office. Some snark, but nothing calling for violence, nothing untoward like that.
Yeah, I think it's weird. It's like in the actual text exchange that was leaked, the person he's talking to is basically like giving him an out, like, "Hey, I don't like it when you talk like that. Please stop." And he's like, "No." Guess what? They should all be beheaded or something. It's like, whoa,
it was
dude.
bad. Like in any decent race, he should totally not be, if he wants to run to be some local counselor or something like that at some point in the future. But again, you think he's going to actually prosecute people fairly? You think this is somebody who's going to look at the law objectively?
I think you're exactly right. It's like he's running for attorney general. This is not some local office.
It's supposed to represent everyone. It's not. Yeah, it's like the Katie Porter thing. It's supposed to. The governor represents the entire state and the whole population. The AG represents the court system of a state. So it is incredibly unethical for him to be in that position.
Why would she need to represent the whole state, ma'am?
But why? Wait, I don't understand the question.
The 40%. Who needs 40% of Californians? They can just all. Between her and Jay Jones, the logical deduction is we just need to off 40% of California. The people who vote incorrectly, it compounds. And those opinions are not uncommon on the left, unfortunately.
Right.
I mean, you see that on the right as well, where people will. But a lot of times, what the right will say is, just go self-deport to the country of your choice since you hate America.
Right. Well,
I don't want to live next to you. I don't want you dead, but I don't want to live next to you. Versus on the left, you see a lot more of the. I actually actively hope that you die and would encourage it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
The only other big story I think we should touch on real quick, and then I think we're going to head over to the forum and read some headlines and answer some questions and have a little decompression party after the end of a big news cycle. But the government is shut down right now. How's everybody's life going? Have we had any... I know us in this room have been deeply impacted by the government shutdown. But I mean, there are real people who are affected by it. There are people who are furloughed and who are losing paychecks. So I definitely understand. I'm not totally flippant that this is a nothing burger. The government shutdown is very serious. However, as partisan as I am and as conservative as I am, I'm going to say this is all the Democrats' fault. It is.
Oh, yeah.
There is a clean continuing resolution. And if you don't know what that means, it means the Republicans have not put forth any new funding in this continuing resolution. It is a clean CR. They're not asking for anything else. They are literally saying we need to fund the government for 7 more weeks. Please just sign this dotted line. I cannot see how you can make this out to be a Republican-led shutdown. Now, in the interim, guess what's happened? Trump, the administration, was able to get in and confirm 150 cabinet positions during the shutdown. So it kind of worked a little bit to the Trump administration's favor. However, the Republican lawmakers are the one that put forth this clean CR, and the Democrats are the ones saying, no, we won't sign it until you give us back X trillion number of dollars in healthcare for whatever. And, all these other little earmarks, they could sign the bill today and then debate these things in committee, but they are not. And I don't know exactly what the polling is showing right now, but it was last week when it first shut down that people are sniffing out the Democrat rat in this, and the polls show that people are more angry at the left than the right. I don't know if that's...
As of today, we're on the 9th day, right? It's the 9th day of the shutdown.
Yeah, and I think the longer it goes on, the worse it will eventually get for the right. But I think they should not cave at all. I think they should just let it hang there and look, this has always been on you. And in a way, and I'm not saying they should actually do this, but it'd be kind of funny to me if they're like, well, the longer you wait, we're going to just start adding our stuff to this bill. And then you're just going to feel the heat. And eventually you'll, be voting for entirely closed borders or something.
You're asking a lot there, though. You are asking the GOP to have a spine.
Yeah,
and
that's also true.
They have started practicing that, but do they have the testicular fortitude to actually endure? I'm not as optimistic there. But you're right. What's the longest shutdown? I want to say is 37 days or something.
I think 35 days was in 2019 or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I mean, we've all survived these shutdowns before. It obviously it sucks
didn't.
for the pay. You didn't. Travis is not with us actually.
Travis
he's on loan from Jesus.
Isn't he though? Isn't he always?
It is something that affects our civil servants. We like to poke fun of the bureaucracy. At the same time, we're not wishing that people, they don't have money to feed their families.
Right.
They'll get back pay, but obviously this sucks right now.
Right.
So but this is the type of thing where a little bit of pain is needed within the government in a way that's not like Jay Jones is saying, where the government has to work through these things. There has to be negotiation. That's what all this is about. The question is, will the Democrats be willing to give up any of their sacred cows? They haven't had to give up things that are important to them in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it's always been Republicans being like, okay, well, we won't secure the border then. It's all about coming together in unity as Americans.
Because we had the hardest time forming a coalition against anything or behind anything, and to get all on the same page. I wish but at the same time, I like that we're ideological and that we stick to our guns more individually, although it is just so hard to get anything done. We saw this during the Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy speaker debacle a few years ago, just all the infighting, and the Democrats are really good at getting behind a message, sticking with it. Hey, men or women, women or men, cool. We're all in. 100%. Oh, Zora Mamdani is a communist? Cool. 100% endorse, whatever. We're all in. And the Republicans we're much more, and this shows in studies they've done, we're much more ideologically individualistic, which is good, but it can also be a big hindrance in getting stuff done, like Joel said. So I hope for the sake of our country that we come to a conclusion and an agreement with the government shutdown. It's not good for us as a country to be shut down. I think we need to figure out ways, but I do think this is an example of really staunch partisanship on the part of the Democrats. And because they have said Trump is Hitler, right? Mm-hmm. So to give an inch to Hitler shows that they are compliant with fascists.
You don't negotiate with Hitler.
Don't negotiate with Hitler.
Never.
And so Chuck Schumer cannot budge an inch, because to budge an inch would be to give in to literal Hitler. And this is, it's a corner they painted themselves into. And I'm sorry, guys, you have. So just my favorite quote, and this is an Arrested Development episode, but is when Lindsay locks herself up in the tree and she's fighting having it bulldozed over, and Michael comes up and says, well, have fun finding out what that bucket's for. That's exactly what I feel like with the Democrats. Well, guys, have fun finding out what that bucket's for. Trump's going to confirm a whole bunch of appointments and probably trim some fat off of the government, and you guys don't have a lot of power right now, so sorry about that.
So hopefully it actually ends up working for the greater good, because trimming off a lot of fat would be very helpful.
Could be.
I mean, that's my larger, when I look at the shutdown, I go, okay, this back and forth, everything that's going on here, there's a lot of tension within the shutdown in a sense that's playing out. And so in a way, the shutdown, it's not a great look for Democrats. It's not exactly good for the overall governance of the country. But if we're at such odds that things do have to shut down, then it shows that conversations need to happen. There needs to be But all of this I see as small potatoes next to the fact that all of this is over a spending measure. We are currently just about to hit $38 trillion in debt. Nice. And no one has explained to me, even in this government shutdown, how we are going to turn that around anytime soon. We keep getting some vague cuts here and there to the budget, but I just checked yesterday and we were at $37.8 trillion. We're going to be at $40 trillion very, very quickly.
We are going to be insolvent in 10 years.
And I just don't understand, I'm sitting here as a relatively younger American. I'm no spring chicken anymore, but I'm thinking 30 years in the future and going, what does life look like? Because I feel really bad for the civil servants who need a paycheck right now. I want the government to operate smoothly, but I'm also thinking about 2055 and thinking, what does life look like when we're $850 billion or $1 trillion in debt?
Right.
Maybe I'll get to put some of my foraging skills to good use. I've got a lot of trad wife skills. So maybe this is when I do my
canning and foraging.
I can food storage. There's a little part of me.
Next podcast, Robin will skin a deer.
I probably could field dress a deer if I needed to.
I really actually hate how no one's talking about it too. Like you said, Joel, other than some very vague promises of, we need to cut things because that's responsible. No one's really addressing it. Other than Rand Paul, Thomas Massey. Those are the only two that I'm aware of that are like,
and they're
hey,
on the
this is a
outs with the
huge
Republican
problem.
Party now because of other stuff.
Yeah, everyone's getting mad at them for.
Well, they become a
wanting to-
punchline.
Yeah. And it's very disappointing that, like, I understand that you can't necessarily accomplish everything in one day, but if Speaker Mike Johnson said, we know this is a problem, what we're trying to do is work with Democrats to pass a couple resolutions so that we can, in order to do such and such, that would at least be something.
Right.
But they just they're passing the buck on to the future continually,
Travis,
over and over.
Would you say that the federal government is something akin to a ring, like a one ring of power?
Yes, it corrupts men, and they think they can use it for good, but once they have it, they can't let it go.
We need our Frodo. What we need is our Sam more than our we need someone to push the ring.
I can't carry it, but I can carry you.
Yeah, I dream about who's going to be our Samwise and our Frodo in the federal government.
Are you saying you want to throw the federal government?
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying
I was a little insurrectionist.
I agree with all of you on the budget, and it keeps me up at night. I have kids. I don't know what the future holds, but oh my gosh! All right, let's move on to some forum headlines.
Let's do some happy stuff.
Do some happy. No more doom and gloom. All right, buttons. All right, we are going to. This week, I've heard from some people. So we read our forum headlines from our amazing subscribers. And if you are not a subscriber to the Babylon Bee, go be one right now. So pun intended. And we like to feature users that maybe don't get featured as much as other ones. So let's look at the featured headlines. And then we'll do some I'm feeling lucky. If anybody has any other suggestions, I just want to highlight as many of our good people as we can in the next 5 minutes. So I'm going to go to these are the featured headlines. So these aren't ones that got published. Let's see if I can zoom in. Can you see?
No, I can read it.
You can read them. Okay, let's go down the list here. These are the featured ones for this week, and we'll read a couple of these. We'll do some I'm feeling lucky, and then we'll go from there.
If you're watching this, don't look over on the right side. That's thought crime about Katie Porter.
Don't look at
There's
it.
a couple.
I'm going to read that one really quick because that's a trending headline from Bush Baby. Katie Porter cakes conservatives with Trump-endous snack attack. And then there's a little, what looks like a picture with a word bubble. And she says, I don't need Trump voters. I'll plow through Trump voters like a box of Little Debbie cupcakes.
And then there's Jabba the Hutt under that one. Sorry, I derailed you here, Robin. But
No, this is great. Yeah, we'll get to, there's the Jabba. Yeah. Gubernatorial candidate refuses to answer questions from CBS reporter waddles out of interview. Oh my gosh. All right, Travis, let me get to the top here and take it away.
All right. From LPA The Human, Trump designates Eagles fans a domestic terrorist organization.
Yes, amen.
I don't get that one. I'm illiterate.
They're just a little destructive sometimes. Enthusiastic.
Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that.
That's the problem.
Philadelphia, born and raised. Okay, next up.
From Don't Slow the Earth, James Comey charged again with lying under oath after saying not guilty.
That's good.
That's really good.
Oh, boy.
All right.
David Johnson reports, CIA asks Trump to please stop destroying their drug boats.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha. It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's awful and true. Yeah. Okay. Soupy.
Soupy says 48. Antifa instructs all chapters to begin Christmas looting early this year.
I hadn't even thought about. We were doing Christmas shopping, or we had some things on Amazon my wife wanted to get this week, and I'm just like, man, it's already. I got to start thinking about that. And Robin, as a mom, is probably already miles ahead of me. But yeah, I mean, what's the looting situation going to be like in November? I'm curious. Black Friday, question. We'll have to see.
Black Friday looting. All right,
it's hard for me because I have a daughter whose birthday is in October and a daughter whose birthday is in January, and then there's Christmas.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So there's just a bunch going on.
Yeah, and our anniversary is in December, and we have it's always a rough month, expensive and busy. Okay, let's do like two more.
All right, from Westland 619. Christian man fervently prays every Sunday for injury on opposing football team.
Oh, that was last week. I think we read that one. Okay. We did this one too. Okay, we've gotten to the bottom. All right, you guys, I'm going to do I'm feeling lucky. We've had some real wins. We've had a few misses. So here we go. I'm feeling lucky. Doot, doot, doot.
From Fun Guy, refugees in England report so Farsi so good.
Oh, that took me a second. That's so cheesy. So
like
Farsi, so good.
So Farsi, so good. I don't know if we would publish that because it's a little too punny, but it's funny. Good job. Okay, another I'm feeling lucky. Oh, wait, it's the same one.
Oh, it's the same one.
You have to go back and refresh the whole page.
Okay, I'm refreshing the whole page, and here we go. Another I'm feeling lucky.
From E4H Now, legless dog found in a hole. His name is Phil. Hashtag bad headline Sundays. And it's really just an excuse for this AI picture of a weird
legless wiener
dachshund with no legs. And it's horrifying.
I'm a mom enough around kids that makes me laugh. Okay, let's do one more. I'm feeling lucky.
From Arnob04, archaeologists uncover a new Bible book, The Pepperer, to be included after the Psalter.
After the Psalter, the Psalms, the Psalter.
The Psalter, the Pepper.
Get it?
Okay.
The Pepper. That's really stretching. Like, I would expect a 55-year-old man who is a prolific with dad jokes. I'm just imagining the sandals and the socks in church on Sunday making that joke, and then me being yeah.
And he's like, everybody, right?
Everybody, and it's just like, real.
Get it?
Real funny, Bob. That was great.
All right. Let's read. Oh, these were all. I'm going to go down a bit. Let's read a couple from the updates. These are ones that users have upvoted as high quality headlines. Let's maybe do two here. All right.
Oh, that first one.
From Fishy the Penguin, Disney Plus begins blurring unclean animals in Muslim majority areas.
Oh, geez,
there's a picture.
There's a picture of Bluey, really, and it's all blurry.
Fishy. I like that. That's terrible, but it's really funny. Okay, let's try this one.
From We Bid Thee Farewell, wife certain marriage is over after husband doesn't notice fall-themed doormat.
That's a deal breaker.
I like that one because it feels real.
It does.
It's funny and true.
I get that. Let's read a couple more of these. These are good.
From The Raider, I could take him, thanks guys who accidentally made eye contact with another man.
There's an element of truth in that,
right.
If you're like you're on a street, somebody's walking towards you and you have to do a little head nod or whatever. And there's a moment like,
you're gonna throw down.
If this person tried to rob me, would I be able to stop it?
I could do it. Okay. Let's do one more. This next one's makes you think.
All right. From Emotional Support Python. I'm not doing this interview, says Jesus after Pilate asks, are you the king of the Jews?
But he did.
He did do the interview.
He did.
He did do the interview.
Did. With Pilate, not with the high priest. He was silent.
All right. Good job. Good job, forum users. I'm impressed with the quality of headlines we have on there, and for the support that the forum brings, and our users and subscribers and our listeners. To all of you listening, thank you. And please remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, to like this video and to comment down below. Something nice would be nice, but subscribe to it. All right, really quick, I've got a question or two for the group, and we'll just kind of go around. But we have been doing this at the dinner table. I don't know if you know this, but I have a lot of kids. But I have teenagers and babies, and finding a way to bring our family together is hard at the dinner table. Even if we're all sitting there, it's like a conversation about Minecraft over here, and then the 3-year-old is yelling Bluey songs at me. And so we have a deck of conversation cards, and this is the one we talked about a couple days ago. So I'm going to ask the group this. What is a dream? And the question was just, what is one of your dreams? What do you want to do when you grow up? What is a dream you have when you grow up? But I'm going to modify it for this group. What is a dream that you had as a child that you are currently fulfilling?
Well, I wanted to be a professional writer, and I am doing that. So
that's amazing.
Hashtag living the dream. The difference is that I officially wanted to write novels, and I don't write novels, but maybe someday.
Maybe someday. I love that. I like that you wanted to be a writer.
Well, technically, my first thing was I want to be a paleontologist, and I said that because I watched Jurassic Park. And then you kind of realize,
many
being
of us
a paleontologist is really boring.
Yeah,
and the animals are dead. Yes,
because the dinosaurs, they're unfortunately not alive.
Not around anymore. Believe it or not.
All right, Joel, can you?
My answer is similar, but I'll just go with I'm a dad. So
Aw.
that's
That's
really
more wholesome.
cheesy and corny.
No, it's not. I think that's fantastic.
No, I would say that is my number one. But yeah, similar thing. For a long time, I wanted to actually be a pilot. That was something, and I took some flying lessons in the Civil Air Patrol. Did that. Had a lot of immediate family members that were in the Air Force. Considered the Air Force Academy. Actually went and toured it at one point. And so I was kind of geared that direction. Thought I'd go into engineering or a field like that. And my dad would always tell me, no, you're really, you're a writer. You enjoy writing. You enjoy dialoguing on these various issues. And you really like talking religion and politics. So you'll probably have a job like that. So it's more like my dad's vision came true. He was actually correct about me.
Nice.
But,
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's good that parents can point those things out. In my yearbook, everybody wrote, see you when you're the president, the first female president of the United States, because I was very politically outspoken. If you can believe it, I was very politically outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
I really, when I was in high school especially, I really thought I was going to become a politician. That was what I told people. I'm going to be in politics. I was very politically minded and active. I was on our local city youth council. They had the city council, and I was an at-large youth city council member in high school. I did a lot with our student government. I've become a lot more jaded over the last couple of years about joining. I think you can do more good sometimes from the sidelines, pointing stuff out than jumping in. But if I had to say something I really wanted to do as a child or a youth that I'm doing now, other than being a mom, because I don't think that's cheesy, and I every day pinch myself that I get to have these 5 amazing kids and be married and have kind of just the best life. It's like I feel like I've won the lottery every day. And I think I appreciated that as a kid because I had very strong parents and a really good marriage who were really good parents. And I just wanted to grow up and just recreate that environment in my own house. All of that aside, I really, when I was in high school and college, wanted to be a screenwriter. I've talked about this for a lot on the show. That's a dream of mine to write movies. And while I haven't written a full-length movie, I do write a lot for the Bee for our videos. I write quite a few of our video sketches and stuff. And that feels really good to write words and have them produced and acted out. It feels like I'm fulfilling in a small part that dream I've had of being a big Hollywood movie screenwriter. And it's a really fun team to work on. And as a mom running around all day, and then all of a sudden one of my videos will pop up on YouTube that I've written, it's a real thrill for me. So
I'll just say, if you ever do in the future want to run for president, John Adams said that public business must always be done by somebody. If wise men decline it, others will not. If honest men refuse it, others will not.
Wow.
So I'm just saying.
John Adams was my favorite president.
Hey.
I like to try to encourage other people to run for politics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't have
spotlight. That's a
I'm
good
just being
question.
hypocritical.
I want to know what our favorite, real quick, and then we'll end. Travis, John Adams, let's talk about who our favorite presidents were. This is a great question to end on. Tell me why you love John Adams. What?
Well, honestly, it's a little more because I think he's just very interesting because I don't think the Alien Sedition Acts that he signed were good. That was bad. But in general, being a founding father and being one of the chief architects of, the Declaration, he didn't write it, but he was certainly, in the committee. And if the musical 1776 is anything to go by, he was basically in charge of everything. And he looked exactly like Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
I'm sure he did. And he had a great wife too. And
he had an excellent singing voice. But I don't know, he was just very fascinating to me. But he was outspoken and not afraid of being disliked, which he often was. So,
I love that. All right, Joel, favorite president.
I mean, I really there's something Washington. I'm always going to say George Washington, but I also Jefferson. I mean, Adams is really good. Jefferson, I always find interesting just because of the whole Barbary Wars and everything that happened with that. And that was a very interesting founding moment in U.S. history. And, starting the Marines, that's where we get the term leatherneck was from that whole campaign in North Africa. The U.S. flexing its muscle. It really set the tone his presidency set the tone for a lot of foreign policy, in particular with the United States. It even continues today. But there's other people on there. Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt is a fun.
That's
president.
mine. That's who I was.
Andrew
gonna say.
Jackson was pretty fun. A little spicy. And then there's more modern presidents. I feel like I have to say Ronald Reagan because otherwise there are certain people in my life who'd be like, how could you not include Ronald Reagan?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
He's like saying the Bible.
Jesus,
like, what's your favorite
and then
book?
Ronald Reagan.
And then
the Bible.
Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. I would say for
Trump
me
too is fun. I will say Trump is fun. He's not, I wouldn't say that he's a statesman, right?
Sure.
But I don't think they'll ever be as interesting of a president.
Entertaining.
Yeah. Will there ever be
not.
a president as entertaining before or after Trump in the history?
Sometimes I like to
I
think
don't
that because this is all in the modern era with TV and everything, I like to imagine that people like, Martin Van Buren were just Trump-esque and we just didn't know. Because
we just didn't
was
know.
captured.
They were just like
we
that
didn't
in
have
private.
meme wars and Twitter and whatever.
Nobody paid attention to national politics.
Right. But if you looked in his diary, it was probably like him scathing everybody, just like a Twitter account.
He's making up nicknames.
Yeah.
Calling him pencil neck. And
that's right.
What would you say, Robin?
Mine is FDR, or not FDR. Teddy
I was
Roosevelt.
about to have some words.
Sorry. I was thinking Roosevelt. No. Not FDR. I think he did more damage for the country in the last 100 years than probably any president has done.
Apology accepted.
I read a book by Doris Kearns Goodwin, who's a really good historian, called The Bully Pulpit, about the presidency of Teddy Roosevelt. And I really it was a 36-hour audiobook. I felt like I should get a certificate in the mail for finishing it. But
yeah,
I really got an appreciation, not just for who he was as a president, but who he was as a man and a dad. But I think his starting of the national parks is something that we enjoy today. And it's not something necessarily that the Republican Party really swings into as much anymore. And I wish that we did make conservation in a practical way, not in the crazy way that the left has taken over it, but natural conservation, a real key part of our platform.
I agree with that.
I think
100%.
Yeah, I think we have a stewardship over the land, and I think drill baby drill is great, but I also think we need to be a little more thoughtful about the way we use our natural resources. And Teddy was a real natural man. That was what he did. He worked really hard to preserve a lot of areas in the country that we still enjoy. And there's a lot of other things about his presidency. And I really enjoyed getting to know him over the 36 hours of that book. But all right. With that said, I think we've covered just about everything. I'm sure there's something big we've missed or something that will break in the next 24 hours. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to Travis and Joel for being around to keep it fun, keep it on topic. And until next week, thanks for listening to Beyond Parody and have a great week.
Adios.